That's great, man. I'm actually live right now. Yeah, I just hit live. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm live and I'm looking at my pretty self, and I have all these things to put on. Look, it says live stream of consciousness with Tom Bianchi. Tonight's guest George Woods. Theoretically, I'm live on the air. I think Isaac is listening to us as well. But I suppose, like with any good podcast, and I'm going to hold the phone up to the speaker so maybe folks can hear you. Like not even like any good podcast, like any podcast. This is the very first one, and it's going to be it's going to be a few bumps in the road. We're trying to get George live on the air, and like some podcasts, there's always a monologue. So I guess this is my monologue. This is perfect. It's July 20th.
Bed sheets or some shit, dude.
Yeah, do the whole. This podcast is sponsored by what the fuck? Oh, you know what? And I just moved my mouse into a hot corner.
I'll tell you what, it's not sponsored by Restream.
So far Restream is failing, but you know what? I paid extra money to have their branding taken off today. So,
oh my God, I can see you. Can you see me?
I can see you, George. But I haven't turned you on yet, so the world cannot see you.
Turn me on plenty.
And the world cannot hear you, I don't think. I don't think the world can hear you yet, except through my phone. But as soon as I hit this video button, the world's going to be able to hear you. So anyway, this podcast is sponsored by Good Luck, pal. It's 2020, and I don't know what the hell is going to happen next. But I'm psyched. George, this is the very first one. And ladies and gentlemen, anybody who happens to be listening out there, I don't think there's more than just a few people, but that's the story of my life. Just like with the Lizard Lounge Open Mic Challenge, many years ago, I started the show and about 5 people showed up. And then it became too big for a little guy for me to handle. And I had to pass it on to a much larger than life man. Ladies and gentlemen, George Woods. Let's see if I can do this.
Hey. Oh, shit. I haven't been able to see myself, so my hair's all fucked up. Hey, how you doing, man?
Okay, I shut the phone off. Do we have the echo thing going on?
I don't know.
Well, we're good.
We're good.
We're good.
Okay, so I know that you're probably just hearing me through my laptop, though.
I am. It sounds like a laptop feed. I don't know. It's not going to be the best audio.
Well, that's okay.
But we might. I don't know. I'm afraid to.
Bro, you just froze. No, wait, now I can't hear you. No, wait, there you are.
How about now? Am I back?
Now you're back, but you have a wonderful delay on. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, actually, I can actually see it. Fuck it. Let's just talk.
All right, man.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I think this thing is on YouTube, which I can just download the audio, and it will be a podcast. So let's close our eyes and pretend like this is a podcast, you know?
Okay, you got it.
George, were you a gym guy? Did you do the walking or the running or the gym, that kind of thing?
I'll tell you what, here's what me being any sort of athlete looked like, okay? Kickball, 5 years old, I was a god, all right? T-ball, god. In fact, in Little League, I thought I was pretty good for a little while there, you know, and like in soccer, I probably sucked, but everybody told me I was great because I was 8. But the second that I got into middle school, and then suddenly like hormones took over my brain and decided that I had no longer the right to any sort of ability to like regulate my consciousness or horniness, then I would walk up to the plate with a bat, spin the bat while I walked up to the plate, like literally just like playing with the bat. I would take 3 strikes and walk back to the dugout, and that was what I did, and that was the end of any sort of physical activity for me, man.
And that's when you gave up on sports and picked up the guitar?
Yeah, and a fucking Hershey's bar, I'll tell you what.
Did they coincide with each other, the letting go of the sports and picking up the guitar?
No, man. I can tell you that it was more like music was kind of part of my genetic makeup, and then sports was a passing phase.
Yeah.
You know how some people play. You know how some people play baseball or football, and they occasionally dabble with the clarinet or some shit. I was the opposite of that.
Sports is what mom made you do to try to keep you out of trouble at that age.
Sports is what my parents did because we live in America, and that's what you're supposed to do, I guess.
Yeah. Keeps us little drones busy.
Yeah, right. Jesus.
Keep them in school, get them ready, and somehow we bucked the system. We didn't get ready for that workforce, and here we are.
Now we have guitars.
Yeah. Although you are teaching.
I am. Yeah. I'm teaching at Berkeley, doing the whole thing. But you knew that.
Is that? Well, yeah, but.
But we're on a podcast.
I don't think you understand the idea of the podcast, George.
Yeah, right.
That's like, you gotta let me set these things up, pretend like I did my research. Meanwhile, we've just been hanging out. My intern gave me a sheet to look at over here. George, right. And how's that pronounced? Woods?
Wads.
Oh Lord! You got something new? You want to play a song for us?
Sure, man.
That laptop speaker sounds freaking terrible. It's the worst.
You know what? I can switch if you're just trying to do audio. I'm gonna switch.
All right, we're gonna see. Oh, it worked.
It worked.
Just so for the song, you'll switch to that audio.
Yeah, sure.
I love it. Let's. Yeah, that sounds nice. That's nice and warm.
Cool, man. Heavy.
Have you written songs during the pandemic?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus. The question is, will I remember how to play them? Yeah. I mean, I've I guess so anytime in the last 6 months, and I've definitely written a shitload in the last 6 months.
Just so you know, I don't know if you see it on your end, and anybody watching, the sync is so bad right now. It's like it's like almost a full second off, and like, you know what, we're just gonna roll with it. George, for what it's worth, George and I got on an hour before this started to try to figure out these tech things, and like nothing worked, and we just decided, fuck it, it's time to go live. We're gonna go live.
It's not like you and I aren't well versed in techie shit either.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're real pros. Oh, you think I can get a job over there at the Berkeley in the tech department or whatever?
Oh, yeah,
Not after this.
Especially, when I went for my interview and I called it the Berkeley, they were really happy about that. I was like, yes, I would like to work at the Berkeley. That's great.
I want to work at the Berkeley College of Mucus. How's that? Can I?
It's the Berkeley Collage of Muzak. All right, get it right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Woods. We don't have a job for you.
That's probably what happened. Yeah.
You know what though? I've heard from all your students. They love you. Your students. You bring this enthusiasm to the classroom, which is. I mean, that's key. That's great.
That is true. I kind of have I have like one mode, just like, pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, but it is the most important mode for a teacher is to be engaging.
And the other thing about it to me, man, the most important thing about what I think my job is there to teach these kids, teach people songwriting, right? Teach them songwriting. Like the way that I mean, there's definitely things that you can share that are stone cold, like this is how you like technical stuff, but like really at the end of the day, like I feel I think I know that I'm not right about anything, because I think it's impossible to be right about anything, and I think that the whole point of the thing is like it's not like you play me a song and I'm like, well, I would like your song to do this, so do that. It's more like you play me a song, and my question is, what are you trying to have your song do? And you're like, I really want it to be a sunny song about playing on the beach. And I'm like, well, right now it sounds like a song about domestic violence, so let's fix that. What happens? It's actually usually the other way around. It's usually like someone's trying to write something very serious, like I'd like to write a song talking about domestic violence, and they bring you a tune that's like all Berkeley-ified chords, like. Right. It's like that's
violence.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Violence in my. But I guess that's the beauty of teaching songwriting and music, so much of it is subjective. You're not teaching math or history more so because it fucking I guess you can interpret anything, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. And it's one of those things, it's like history is about stuff that happened, and songwriting is about stuff that you're making, right? It's about stuff that's new in the air. And then the other thing that's really weird about songwriting too, especially when you get on a college level, because you're trying to prepare people for being professionals, right? You kind of have to teach people how to sell something invisible.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like yeah, sure, I'm qualified.
Untangible more so.
Yeah.
Physically untangible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it really leads me to all these really interesting questions about like why do people actually engage with music on a level where they want to put money into it? Like what is it about it? And I think the thing that's so interesting is that a good song. I mean, like a good song is a good song, right? Like you can do it in punk, you can do it in like scream, you could do it in fucking James Brown funk, you could do it in hard, whatever you want. Like you could do it in 1716 fucking math rock bullshit if you wanted to. But,
yeah.
But as long as the song is there and it's saying what you want it to say the way you want it to say it, like a good song is a good song. And I think the thing about it is that what people actually buy, I think when they're purchasing music, and unless they're like nerds like or me, right, is they're buying participation in a culture.
Wow.
You know what I mean? They're buying participation in a culture. They're buying the ability to identify the person who's singing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's why it's so important for like these major pop acts, like especially when they're first getting out there, they have to have some sort of story, like they're on the fucking Bachelor or something. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, did you know that Ray LaMontagne was working in a shoe factory and his friends encouraged him?
Right.
And it's like, everybody had a job before they did this.
I'm such a curmudgeon. I go negative so fast. But I remember hearing some of the first experiences of America's Got Talent and all that stuff, where they're like, you tell a story, and they'd be like, that's it. Like some of the best songwriters I know, it's like, I came from a well-adjusted family and I went to college and passed everything and I was very good at the arts and I've got my side job and now I'm doing shows. And they're like, no one beat you? like, you didn't lose a pinky in a tragic combine accident? Like, what do you mean?
It's like, why am I talking to you if you're not fundamentally broken? And
yeah. If we're not saving you, we got no time for you, man.
It's like, so what's your story? I'm a death row prisoner on suicide watch, and I just had my last meal for the first time. They won't kill me. They won't kill me. Can we hear your voice? Yeah. Amazing Grace House. You're hired.
You'll get on. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. No. But the thing that's really interesting though is like, I mean, take an artist like Meghan Trainor. One of her first really big songs to come out was all about that bass, right? And like, I think the thing about it is people look at that shit and they go like, I want to put money behind that because there's a cultural wave of body positivity right now, and I want to ride that wave. And essentially, what you're kind of doing is monetizing that, which sounds really sinister and kind of fucked up. But if you really think about it, right, like, yeah, they're monetizing it, but like, they're also providing a space for people to. They're providing a space for people to engage and identify and celebrate that culture, right?
Right.
It's like people who listen to Sex Pistols because they hated their fathers. It's like the same shit.
Yeah.
It's like
hated the authority of their family and then projected that onto whatever establishment they happen to be in at the time.
Exactly. God save the queen, right?
Yeah. Hey George, this interface seems to be working just fine, but I would maybe turn it down just a hair when you get louder into it. It seems like it might be cut. There's a little bit of a chippiness, and it might be just peaking just a tiny bit.
How's this?
It's good. Hopefully, it's not too quiet. It sounds good to me, but the masses, I'm sure, will chime in. By all means, if it's too quiet out there, by all means. I'm asking the masses to be engineers. That's the biggest mistake.
Yeah.
I have a good friend from Long Island named Theo. He's like, when does the singing start? Theo's one of my real good friends from another whole lifetime of a pre-25 Tom, who used to live on Long Island and play in bands.
I saw a picture of pre-25 Tom, and I have to tell you, you looked like a Calvin Klein underwear model.
He was a good-looking man, I tell you.
Man. Yeah,
if I had at least thought I looked as half as good as I actually did, it probably would have been bad because I would have straight to my head. I was a good-looking kid.
Yo, dude.
What the fuck happened, man?
I gotta tell you, I think there might be some sort of genetic failsafe that aids the propagation of the species of mankind. That hot people don't realize they're hot. I think that might be a good thing, because if they did, just imagine how many more Julius Caesars and fucking Augustus.
It's like a self-preservation thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if human beings were as attractive as they are, and they knew how active they were, I mean, I think we'd all be cult leaders. I mean, is that wrong to say? Is that? That seems.
I don't know.
I'm gonna write a song about it. What do you say?
Hey, play me something, man. Play a tune. What's on your mind?
Jesus, man. So many things. So I am in the midst of working on like a new rock project and a folk project, and then I have like 5 songs for like a musical that I'm writing. It's like so I'm in this really interesting space right now. So back on the teaching idea, right? I'm going to play you guys 2 very different sides of me tonight. So I'm going to play you guys some of these songs for a rock project that I'm starting called The Silent Quiet, which I'm just in the middle of working on the first single and trying to find that like real direction for it.
Sounds good to me.
All right. And then I'm also going to play you guys some folky ass tunes. So let's do a Silent Quiet song. How about how's that sound to you?
Hey, George, I'm going to stop you. Turn it down a little bit. I think that it is peaking.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
one engineer to the other.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna mute the guitar. Look at that. And let's just go through the microphone. See how that helps. Does this help?
Yeah, it's peaking. Definitely peaking.
Still peaking. You got it.
Yeah, something's hitting its ceiling.
How about this?
Maybe it's the whole. Are you lowering the output over and over?
Yeah, I'm actually turning down the gain on my microphone, so you shouldn't be coming through anything else.
How about is there an input-output? Maybe the input is peaking instead of the output. You know what I'm saying?
There is no.
Maybe it's not the computer.
No. Yeah, I'm turning down the input volume. So it can't.
Turn down the output volume.
I don't have the ability to do that. I don't think.
Okay. Well, fuck it. Go for it.
Yeah.
Well,
let's see what happens.
Listen beyond the tech issues, folks, and let's have a tune.
She's dancing out in the cold. I'm feeling right through my bones. See the John of face. I wanna feel it, but I can't. Devil at my door with a winning grin. Would you think it's a sin if I let him in? Take a shot and feel the burn. I wanna feel it. I wanna feel it. My heart is racing still. My wounds are filled with sorrow. Get me on that level. Dancing with the devil. Oh, and leading the waltz. My heart is racing still. My wounds are filled with sorrow. So get me on the level. Dancing with the devil and lead in the waltz. See, I'm broken, not broken up. Get it together and straighten up. How do you do it? Won't think what gives. I wanna live it, but I just don't live. She's vision in the morning. She's the dream, and I wanna stay. I wanna feel it. I wanna feel it.
Yeah. Just so you know, I'm not just like looking at my phone. I'm keeping an eye on tech issues and stuff.
So how is the sound there? Is it totally fucked up?
It's kind of interesting. I'm not quite sure. It says it's a wonderful song, by the way. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
There is something kind of. It seems more like internet overload, maybe at this point. I'm not quite sure because you're hitting some loud notes and it's not peaking. So I don't think it's the actual physical peaking.
Maybe.
It might be the internet doing its thing. You know, you might have to play quiet ballots only because it doesn't seem to happen when we're talking.
How about this? Is this better?
I don't know. You'd have to.
We'll have to. Oh yeah. I'll tell you what. As long as we're in the middle of like, hey, this is the first time and let's fuck around with it.
Yeah. What?
Well, get me on the level, dancing with the devil and leading the wall.
Yeah, that's actually not cutting out at all.
Excellent. Yeah. I figured it out.
Yeah.
It's a DSP solution.
That's a who what?
Don't worry about it. It's technical terms. We wouldn't know. You and I wouldn't know anything about
it. You could tell me what it is. I wouldn't know what it is. There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. You and I wouldn't have any idea what that was. It was a compressor that I had on. The compressor was shorting out.
Oh, it actually does sound like yeah. That is exactly what it is. God damn, George. We overthink these things, we engineers, don't we?
I'm too fancy, man.
We overthink these things.
I'm way too fancy.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Be fancy.
My wife actually set me up with a ring light. It's supposed to make me feel better. Look better. It's supposed to make me feel better.
I was gonna say something about it, but I didn't want to be too forward.
Whoa. How's that? It's actually nicer, isn't it?
It actually, yeah. I mean, now you look like. Now this is definitely a lightness and dark sort of thing going on right now.
Oh, I can. How's that? Now we look good. We look good.
We look good. Yeah, I got the glorious glow of whatever screen in my glasses. And
you look great. Hey, how's fatherhood, man? How's fatherhood?
Dude, fatherhood is, especially with COVID and a 13-month-old kid.
You named your kid COVID?
Yep. Yes, I did.
That would be if a kid comes out of this thing named COVID. That would be the most punk rock thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, she's gonna, she's really gonna take the world by storm.
She's gonna go viral. I mean, there's no doubt.
She's got a real future in disease. Terrible. No. Her name is Darby.
It's gonna be her band. Yeah. How's Darby? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That's very
beautiful,
funny.
Darby. We're idiots.
Dude, I'll tell you what. No, it's been it's amazing having a little kid. You know, I mean, like, the coolest thing about having a kid who's going from 0 to 1 is just sort of seeing all the stuff learn how to do for the first time, and it's like,
yeah,
holy shit. Walking is amazing. Holy shit, gravel's my favorite thing. Holy shit, I said dad. You know, like that kind of stuff. It's like it's kind of crazy. And I will say for the first few months that she was on the exterior of Heather. That's not a. Is there a weirder way to say that? Well, let's find it. So first few months that she was breathing her own air. It was. I didn't quite know what to do with her because she was, she's a potato that eats and shits and sleeps.
Yeah, it's a meatloaf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You just hold her in your forearm like this, and that's it.
That's it. And but now now I can like teach her stuff. I can like her learn, and like we can actually play together. Like interaction, and like it's really cool now. I will say though, like. For the love of God, I wish it was safe to send her to daycare because holy shit, it's exhausting.
Yeah. So yes. Dude. Now, is your wife working?
Yeah, we're both working. So we're.
Is Heather working from home or out in the world?
We're both from home.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's not so bad. I mean, but basically, what our lives are right now is, you hold the baby while I I get on my laptop in the office, and then
Pass the hot potato, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Pass the hot screaming potato who demands.
So what did you have to do to be allowed to do this tonight? You have to make dinner all week or something, or
no? Well, I mean, I don't have time anyway. But no. You know Heather, man. She's awesome, man. She's shit together.
Yeah, I know.
And
yeah, absolutely.
She's an amazing writer and singer and performer. Yeah.
What you is a therapist there, a music therapist? What kind of therapist? If you don't mind me asking, she is a music therapist.
Therapy.
So is she busy as hell right now, trying to help people get through all this, or?
So she works for Dana-Farber, right? So she works for
oh wow,
Cancer Institute. So
real important work.
Yeah. And she basically does. It's funny because now that COVID, because here's the thing about music therapy, it's amazing, right? It's an amazing service. And no one in medicine has any idea what the fuck it is, right? So it's like they can't seem to wrap their head around the idea music can be more than something that's quaint that you have at a dinner party. So so they what's really interesting about the quarantine thing is that now that Heather's online, she's actually able to service more people than she was when she was on site. Because, like, if you think about it, I mean, people are driving 3-4 hours to get to Dana-Farber for treatments and stuff like that. So
right.
So the idea of them coming in to do driving in just to do a music therapy session is a little tough. But if you can beam straight into their fucking house,
yeah.
So
more people in a more timely manner.
Exactly. So it's actually opened up. A lot of possibilities for her.
Is that how you're doing your teaching right now?
Yeah. I'm teaching on Zoom. It's crazy.
Now, I have a question for you because my wife, since she hasn't been gigging and she's not touring right now, obviously she does lessons a lot too. Do you find, and specifically for younger kids, I guess you deal with teenagers, college age teenagers.
Yeah, they're on their way to drinking legally and drinking.
Yeah. Do you find that they are easier to? Do you find that they pay more attention through the Zoom format, or do you find you lost them? It's easier to hang on to them in the classroom.
I have this. So I have a student who's a phenomenal writer, who is like, she wears crazy makeup, like she's like she's like YouTube tutorial makeup, right?
Oh, yeah, which is a thing.
It's a thing. Yeah, exactly. But I have a class with this student, and class is at 11 a.m. and college students wake up at 10:50 for an a.m. class, right? That's when they wake up. So I try to make sure that everybody has their cameras on, so I can actually speak and see how it lands people and see if they're actually understanding the thing. So ever since I kind of made them turn on their camera, she's treated the class to basically like a 2-hour makeup tutorial every single class, where she'll be like commenting on songs and shit like that, but she'll be doing like a smoky eye, like at the same time. So it's like she'll be like, yeah, I thought your pre-chorus was like super cool. I mean, I love the structure on that, and just like, pulling an eye and
doing her thing at the same time.
Yeah, and honestly, like, it's interesting because I think the thing about it is that music has always been a trade craft. You know what I mean? Like, and what I mean by that is to say that what's the right way to put it? Like, if you want to learn how to be a plumber, you walk up to a plumber and you say, "Hey, teach me how to be a plumber," right? And they go, "Okay, go install these 27 toilets and tell me how it goes," right? Same thing for being a songwriter. If you want to learn how to be a songwriter, you walk up to a songwriter, you say, "Hey, I wrote these songs," and then they help you direct and then go forward. So it's very much a kind of a trade sort of thing. It's like a student-teacher relationship one-on-one.
Now, my wife has said, I guess she does a lot of younger kids. Maybe this isn't the same with older folks. But then again, when adults, and when I say older folks, I don't think she's doing lessons with any college-age kids. I think it's either younger folks or peers, people our age. I think the folks our age are specifically there to take guitar lessons during COVID, so they're paying attention. They're really enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
But with my wife doing kids, 10, 12, 8, 14, I think she finds that this format, this video format, they're actually paying attention. Just like this is a format that they are used to. They're used to. Looking at a computer screen, looking at the iPhone, that kind of thing,
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Yeah, I think the thing about it for me is that, like, with the college kid, where they're going to music school, you know what I mean? Like, they're there because they figured their shit out and they want to be musicians, right? So, I think that the Zoom thing can be a little oppressive because they really are inundated with song work. They're inundated with learning how to conduct, all this shit. So it's like, but there are also, like, weirdly, like, there's certain advantages to it. Like, if I'm in a class and I want these kids to break out and like go co-write with each other, I can, like, press a fucking button and send them all into groups of 2 or 3 people.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then next thing I know, I come back in 20 minutes and they have a song. And it's like, and like it's there are certain things that are actually way easier. Like,
are you finding any of these kids having trouble with the whole COVID thing? Is anybody like, God, that was the darkest song I've ever fucking heard.
Oh, dude, I appreciate that you think it takes a massive pandemic for a songwriter to write something that's like.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've ever heard. I like that you have that kind of hope. That's
yeah. All right,
like,
fair enough.
I awoke this morning and I bled my ears because of how much I cried for you. My eyes were dry. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, that's dark. Yeah.
No. No. There's plenty of darkness in the middle of music school without a pandemic. I will say, there was, what's interesting is to see how the pandemic has been interpreted through all of these different writers. Right. They all have a different sort of bend on it. And the thing that is interesting about it is, like, we're all going through the same shit right now. So having a bunch of songwriters who are going through something similar, singing songs to each other about what everybody's going through, is like it's almost like they take a bit of therapy out of they take a bit of therapy out of everybody sort of like coming together on a particular topic. So it's been interesting for sure.
I just got a text from my intern saying when you're talking, you can get a little bit closer to the mic or turn up a little bit.
Oh yes, that's because I killed that compressor.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. And George, thank you for doing this. I don't know what this is or what it's going to become, but thank you for doing this.
Bro, you asked me to
show number one.
And I was down.
Show number one. Yeah,
man. Well, hey, you want to hear it?
I would love to hear a song. You mentioned that the song you played before was part of a new, like a rock project, a rock opera or something to that extent, correct?
Well, yeah, so that's there's a rock project, a rock opera, and like a folk project. So,
are they intertwined or are they very separate from each other?
So that's the interesting thing. So since I started working at Berkeley, like basically I would get these students for like a directed study, right? And they'd be like, hey, listen, I'm gonna go to Nashville and I'm gonna do all this stuff. And like, what's your advice? And my basic advice to them was like, all right, listen, so you're a songwriter, and a songwriter is a complete person, right? When you think of yourself and you identify yourself as a songwriter, you're like, I have varied opinions. I have particular tastes. I like things that are in contrast to each other. An artist is not that. An artist or a band or a project, right? An artist is a very specific thing that people can sort of hang their hat on. It's the same idea of like why do you listen to why do you listen to John Mayer? Because you like soft, whispery heartthrob who write songs on acoustic guitar. Same reason you listen to like Jack Johnson, something like that, right? And like so you hang your hat on that. Right? But to think that the totality Jack Johnson's personality is like, I like to surf. Like, that's like, you know, like, you're like, I like to surf and I don't wear shoes on stage. Like, that's not a full person, right? So the thing is, the thing that I've been sort of telling these kids to do is like, take your songs and divide them up such that, like, you know, you like put them into a project, right? And maybe put your name on that project, right? So you can have a hip hop project here, you can have an R&B project here, and you can have a trance techno project here, so that you can actually sell something invisible. It's like, why am I listening to you? It's because I like techno, right? And like, if you like techno, you might not necessarily get down with my folk singer-songwriter project, you know, unless you're my you know, my devout fan. And the reason why I was able to give that advice to people is because I never did it myself. And basically, because I never did it myself, it was one of those things that, like, nothing ever really, I feel like, took off the way that I wanted it to. You know, because it was just like, who are you listening to? George Woods. What's his music like? So it's like a little bit of everything. So,
yeah. It's kind of the story of my life.
Yeah, right. Me too, man. So yeah,
it's just too many pots on the stove.
Right. So
not bringing any of them to a boil.
Right. And the reason why I'm having this project right now is because I'm just trying to take my own advice for once.
Right on.
Yeah. So I figured if I'm going to be giving people that advice, I should probably do it.
Do you want to? Are you going to play a song from this?
I'll play you guys a folk song.
All right.
So how funky do you want? Let's go with really funky.
I just realized. I know see all this stuff in the background. I realize these things I can do. Like, check this out, man. This is all new to me. That's why I asked you to do this, because I know that you're good with like tangenting, and you're good. You know, some folks would be like, "You stay on fucking topic, Tom." Right, like, hey, look at this. See, I can do. Hey, look, Theo said that. Hey, look, can you see that, George?
I can see that.
And this guy said George, and look this. Yeah, that's my dad saying hi to Theo.
Andrew Dobrin says I'm officially a famous podcaster now, just so you know. So that's
baby. That's Steve Warren clapping.
Gotta love the Warren.
And I think there's a picture of his cat there. It's kind of cool.
That seems about right.
Yeah.
Seems about right. Steve, I miss you, man. You're a good dude.
George, I'm gonna go away, and I'm still here. So
there you are.
Hey.
Yeah, there you are.
The only problem is it kills my audio too, because I you know, since we're talking about these tech things, I wish that I could take myself off the video but still talk to you, so I can highlight you as the guest, but still interject a little bit, just so I can go like, yeah, mm-hmm.
You want to be my my hype man for lack of a better term.
Oh, George is talking. Did you hear what he just said?
All right,
if I do this way, I could do this. Really? So I'm like looking at you.
Wrong way. Tom? Just
Hey, George.
It was beautiful. I felt it was weird because I actually felt the pressure. You know? I felt the pressure.
I shaved before the show just for you.
I didn't. I wanted you to have the I wanted you to have the burn on your lips that showed my ownership of you.
I like the tickle. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Wow. Wow. I've been woodsed.
Ooh, that's out of 10. We're doing the regular. All right. Cool. Too many guitars, man.
All right. Hey, George. I'm gone.
Good. Fine. See if I care. All right. So let's hear this tune. Honey, you can make a blind man see. Counting on your rosary for all those times that you shed a light on me. And a blind man sees. You can make a blind man see. You could make a mute man sing when he can't say a thing. All those times that you put a song in me, and this mute man sings. He never learned to speak, but this mute man sings. And I wanna make the deaf hear all the ways that I feel for you, my dear. 'Cause I might be blind, I might be deaf, I might be dumb. There ain't a force that I won't overcome to keep you there. To keep you carry all this weight, all those boulders that I left here in my wake. And when you feel like you just can't keep pushing on, I'll put you on my back, and honey, I'll be strong. The rocks on this hill are the things that I can own, and I ain't no rolling stone. Oh, I wanna make the faithless believe. I wanna show you just what you mean to me. 'Cause I might be blind, I might be deaf, I might be dumb, but there ain't a force that I won't overcome to keep you near. To keep you keep you near, to keep you near. Thanks, man.
That was gorgeous.
Thanks, man.
That was gorgeous. That was gorgeous. That was terrible, man. I won't do that again.
No, do it more. Yeah, it's really going to enhance your reputation with the world at large.
You don't get too political when you write. It's a loaded question, huh?
No, it's not that. That's not entirely true. It's I never feel like I don't know. I mean, maybe I should. I've started a couple things. I just haven't finished them yet. Like the Black Lives Matter thing's been very present on my mind.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And like it's funny to me because where I grew up, it was I don't know. I think what the white kids were maybe 25 to 30% of the population in my high school. So and like
so your school was more integrated than most.
My school was my whole city was. Yeah, I mean, like, and like, I think it's because
what city? Where'd you grow up, man?
I grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Poughkeepsie, I grew up in.
You mean it all doesn't look like the Marist College?
I'll tell you what, man. No, yeah. Marist College and Vassar College. That's where all the other people who come to Poughkeepsie go, and they never go anywhere in between. Fuck that, right?
Yeah.
I remember when I was we were more we had I would say it was 50 to 60%. I would say it was probably like 50% African American, then people from Haiti and Jamaica, and we didn't have any kids who were like directly from Africa, but we had
Mm.
families who were here for a long time. And then we had kids who were Puerto Rican, who were Mexican and Dominican. And then we had, the vast term of white kid, and it was interesting because I grew up where I grew up, it was everybody who I knew threw the N-word around, except for the white kids, because they're off limits, obviously, and you knew that. But we got called crackers and stuff, But who gives it? But like that's the thing is like you don't have to give a shit about being called a cracker because you didn't experience 400 years of slavery.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
And like it was something that was always very obvious to me, and like the thing about it that was weird is that I don't know, like the divisions that people are talking about right now have been obvious to me for 33 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the kids who wound up in the honors classes, who had the money to get cello lessons, who did this, they were all the white kids in school. And like,
yeah.
And the other thing about it is like, my family was my dad especially was this person who.
Well, your father was an artist.
My
singer.
My father was
guitar player.
He was a guitar player and songwriter and producer.
Mm.
And composer. And
which I think often gives people a more empathetic point of view.
Yeah, and he grew up with the composer songwriter as a father and grew up in Manhattan, and I guess my grandfather was a very blue collar kind of dude, and my dad never really, even he was born in 1935. He never his love never was drawn at a racial line or a cultural line. He always loved everybody. I remember when I was in middle school, he invested some money into buying a bunch of computers, and he convinced high school to give him a room for volunteer. And he went in there and he taught the kids how to make beats. And yeah, he went in there and taught the kids how to make.
What year is this?
Oh, this would have been 99, 98, somewhere around there.
Huh.
And he went in there and taught the kids how to make beats. And basically, what happened was the kids enjoyed making beats so much they started like skipping classes to make beats with him. So instead of them saying like, "Hey, maybe we should hire you and give you an official period," they were like, "You need to get the fuck out." and then at the same time that they bought the 20 kids who were on the football team their own fucking bus that was branded, so it's like, anyway, so a lot of those kids wound up basically living in my basement, and so would come to my house after school, and basically my entire basement was just full of kids writing beats and basically doing gangster rap for years and years. And
so your father took his 70s heart and brought it to the 90s, and he was like, "This is what hippies were like."
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I guess so.
Huh.
Yeah, and but that's just how I grew up, man. Like, I mean, two of those kids became really close with our family, and one of them is three of those kids became really close with family. One got the fuck out of Dodge and went to Idaho and started a new life, getting as far the fuck away as they possibly could from growing up in Idaho. And when I say growing up in
Poughkeepsie, for anybody who doesn't know, is pretty, even though it's like sort of upstate New York, it's pretty urban. It's pretty, there's a lot of like, it's a little beat, it's pretty beat up, or at least it was.
It is. It's pretty beat up, yeah. It's like you know,
it's an upstate New York City, kind of.
It's an upstate New York City that isn't like people think it's upstate like Red Hook or Rhinebeck.
No,
it's not that. It's basically as far away from you, as far away in the city that you can get and still be on the train, which means that it's the basically you can think of it as the furthest north borough of New York, where the property values are not very high.
Sing Sing is right there.
Yeah.
Was it like Austin? It's close, right?
It's even farther up. It's further up than that. Sing Sing's further down the river, but basically like, the kids that I grew up with, like, they had the same opportunities. I remember one of the guys who was there, who became like a brother to me. His name's Carlton. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He's the one who made out to Idaho, and he was, and like, you're talking about stories of like one of these kids wound up in jail now because his girlfriend stabbed him, and he pulled the knife out and stabbed her back, and he killed her. And then another one of these kids, when he was 3 years old, honestly, one of the most intelligent, sweet, kind but guarded people I've ever met. Carlton, like, now maybe I shouldn't use his real name, but now I have.
It's the internet isn't forever. Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah, eventually society will collapse, right? But genuinely smartest, intelligent, like brilliant young man. He grew up in the projects, and like I guess he opened up his front door one day and saw somebody get shot in the head, and the guy held the gun on him and said, "If you tell anybody about this, I'll kill you and your family." And then Bash, the guy who really became like son to my father, and he called my dad Uncle Dave, and he worked with him. He lived at my house for years. Like he slept at our house for years, had his own room. He got into a rap battle that got out of hand, and it escalated back and forth until finally this just walked into a club and shot him. And we buried him on the same day that my brother got married. So it was funeral in the morning and wedding at night.
So are you just waiting for another whole rock opera to come to write these songs? Is that what's going on here?
This is not done, and it's not edited to be sensitive yet, but I'm just going to play you the first bit of it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from down where the popo don't come round, even when shit's going down to be expected. She's a detective as she collects another ghetto boy off the street while his mama cries. Ain't it wonderful, this American life? And now I'm all new house, new city, new wife, new life. Ain't you pretty when she's walking down the stairs, back lit from the drip of Dominic. Hold your breath when she's letting down her hair. And I'm the one who survived. I'm the one who made it out alive from my hometown. Why am I allowed to thrive? Is it just because my skin is white? And hey, yeah, this American life. Hey, yeah, something ain't right. So look your brothers in the eyes, look your sisters in the eyes. In this American life, something ain't right, something ain't right. With this American life, you know, things like that.
Jeez, it's heavy, man.
Yeah, but it's true.
It's heavy.
And
so I stand corrected. You write plenty of political material.
You know, I just haven't finished it yet because I think the thing about it is like, I don't know, like I just haven't finished it yet. I should.
I also think you know, your persona is very. You don't seem to be very confrontational in your communication with folks. You're very lighthearted. You're a warm person.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I could see why. You know, as far as what you write and then bring to the public is often you know, is product of where you are, what you're doing, and you know, I have this band, so I write songs for the band.
Well, I think it's doing that in a way because so here's the thing about it. Like to me a song, right? To me a song is the most effective vehicle that you can possibly have for translating your experience to another human being, right? I can look at a piece of art and have like an emotional moment around it or something, but the thing about a song is like when I play this chord, you feel like this, and I know how to make you feel. So I can take that chord and then direct that emotion through a narrative and like really make you relive something that I'm experiencing.
Right.
If I'm intelligent about it. And the thing is that as far as I can tell, like, it's the most immediate way for me to give my experiences meaning, because what happens is when I have an experience and I put it into a song and I play it for you, you don't hear it and go, George is having a moment, right? You hear it and you say, like, I'm having a moment.
You have a moment, yeah.
And because you and I can connect on that same level, maybe I've been out of sorry something, but because you and I can,
I'm having a moment.
because you and I can connect on that same level.
I just had I'm sorry. This is a horrible tangent, but I just flashed back to the movie Young Guns, when there's Pat Garrett and the other sheriff, and they have a writer that's with him, and he's sort of a neurotic character, and he's like, "You have to stop the horses. I need to have a movement."
Nice, very good.
I'm having a movement. And that has nothing to do with where we're going. And I hope you remember what you were saying, because I've already knocked it out of my brain. I'm so sorry.
No, but basically what I was saying is that, like, it's the most immediate way for me to translate my real life experience to you. And the thing about it that's really great for me, in my opinion, is that, like, if I'm writing about my life and you hear it and you hear your own life, that means that we share humanity.
Right.
And my goal in writing a song is not just for me to exercise sort of fucking demon or something like that. My goal in writing a song is to share my humanity with people.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, like, if you feel seen in the work that I do, I did my job. So by that nature, like, no, I don't have to be confrontational. I'm not a very confrontational person, but my desire would make me write something like I just played.
As a songwriting teacher and as a songwriter, how much of this is conscious, and what's the split between, like, you're writing and you're trying to do exactly what you just said versus, like, it just, when the song just comes out? Because I know you have the songs that just, like, all of a sudden you just boom and you just hit and it's all emotion, and you can work on a song for 10 years, 1 year, a month. You can work on a song for 10 minutes and that's what the song is. So, like, is there ever a moment, is there a conflict when you're writing? It's like, well, I want to make sure this says what I think I wanted it to say. Or is there a moment where sometimes you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to write it and I'm going to start from there? Like, do you have a process? It's weird to ask songwriters, what's your songwriting process? Do you write the words first and then the music? It's like, oh, it's the stupidest question. But you can't follow.
The answer to that question is, if you're doing it right, you can start from anywhere.
Yeah, sure. It's a freshman interview question, but you and I hate to do that to you, but you see what I'm saying?
I'll happily do that for you. The answer is all of the above. I mean, like you said, I have songs that have taken me 5 minutes to write. I have songs that I've written in the amount of time it took me to play them, and I have songs that have taken me years. So, like, that started as one idea and then turned into. But I think the thing about it is, like, for me, just like my emotional state, like, I think the thing you have to realize also about me is that I'm like riddled with ADHD. Shock. I'm like full of ADHD, and the thing about that's interesting is it can really hinder my ability to accurately communicate with other people sometimes. Right? So it can be kind of tough on that level. And I think the thing about that is when I have a song, it affords me the opportunity to very much make sure I say what I meant to say and you heard it the way I meant for you to hear it, right? And this is like, no matter if I write a song, like, dude, I'm telling you, man, there are songs I've released, put money into, promoted radio campaigns, and then edited. And now I play them differently. Right. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's funny. You can edit something years later or weeks later, and there's always, of course, there's the artist and then the editor.
Yeah.
And there often two different people. It's like yourself. I live with a songwriter and a singer, and I don't know if this happens with you. I think my wife. I'm the nutbag in the relationship. My wife is a fairly grounded and better human being than I. And
high five for nutbag. Say high five. Yeah, there we
1, 2, 3.
Poof. Yeah, I felt that. Yeah.
But I'll often run something by her when I'm still in the artist's head, and she'll make a suggestion, and I'll be like, "What are you doing, and then it's only because I'm an idiot and I'm not in the editor head and I can't bridle my emotions. You know what I'm saying?
That's good though, man. I feel like I think the thing about it is just I think most people get into songwriting because they're trying to exercise some sort of demon of some kind or another.
Yeah.
I know that when my dad died, that's why I wrote I wrote 1,001 songs after that. And some of those were the thing that's interesting about it is sometimes for me the expression actually in the editing, right?
Say again.
Sometimes for me the expression and that sort of exorcism that I'm talking about is actually in the editing.
Right.
Yeah, I got the song "Man of Stone."
You get the emotion on the table, and then when you edit it, you figure out where you were going.
Not even it's more like the edit opened up some new possibility, and that new possibility made me cry in the middle of it. I got the song "Man of Stone," and I'll play it for you now. But the thing that happened when I was writing this tune was and this is so I played you one song that's like a pop rock song, played you one song insanely folky, and now I'm gonna play you a song that's kind of a rock song, kind of a pop song, but also kind of meant to be in a rock opera. So this is one sample from each project right now.
Yeah.
But this song is interesting because
I'm going to make one request before you go too. So play this song, and I have a song I want to request, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I'm warning you now.
Excellent. Well, I hope I remember the damn thing.
I'm warning you now. Is my reverb working when I do that? Oh, cool. Is it way over reverby in the way I'm envisioning it in my head?
Yeah. We got to get you an octave drop modulator, see Satan.
Oh, this is only show number 1, baby. Do you like these little graphics and things that I keep popping up?
I gotta tell you, I think they're fucking great. It makes it feel like I'm on the news.
If anybody's still listening to George and I babble, this is our desperate plea to get money.
I'm getting paid for this?
Oh yeah, well yeah, definitely.
I'm joking. Yeah,
No. Well, I don't know how much, but I just before COVID hit, I was just starting to work on something to do benefit shows at the Burn Backroom series, the 24-hour concerts thing, and find a legit way to direct this money to Beth Israel. And then COVID hit, and I just fell off the conversation with a fellow that was helping me out. So I'm basically right now what I'm doing is just every time I do something like this, I take a 10-15%, depending on the show, sometimes 20. If it's all me, I'll take a bigger percentage. If I'm splitting it with artists, I take a smaller percentage because there's just less money to go around. And just writing a check to Beth Israel, So this is I say nonprofit, but I don't know if that's exactly what it is. It might be like a fund that I create to funnel money over there. But you're talking about good hospitals, Dana-Farber and stuff. Beth Israel took real good care of me last year.
Yeah.
I was in there. I had a nice stay in their ICU for about 2 weeks.
Oh, it was lovely. Yeah.
It was lovely. It was lovely. I had a nice window view.
You got a ventilator before it was popular.
Dude, can I tell you? I'm a firm mask believer.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be someone's I can't, I don't want to be even though I agree with them, it's wear your mask. And, it's just so confrontational, and you're not going to change anybody's mind that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done this 3 times now, twice in a supermarket, and I forget where I was the third time, but basically someone gets too close to me without the mask on, especially indoors where the store says wear a mask in this store. I've done it this food shopping. For the most part, where somebody's in front of me and I got the mask around the fucking chin, and I just at first I'm because it catches me by surprise, and just yesterday this fellow's oh, sorry dude, and he was sincere. He's he knew, he wasn't one of those persons, and there's plenty of them that are fuck you, I'm not wearing a mask. He just knew. He's sorry dude, didn't mean to offend. Almost fair enough, I don't want to wear the mask, but it's still the fucking store. I wouldn't do it to somebody outside. but we're in the store, and I've just taken to, like, honestly and lightly, not with the confrontation, saying, I can tell you exactly what it's like to be on a ventilator. and that so far the reaction every time has been like this. It hasn't been no words, just
Yeah.
And I take that opportunity to start to describe exactly what it's like when you come off the ventilator, which is horrible. It's frightening.
Yeah.
I won't go into it now. I don't need to go into it now. Just know that it's frightening. And so far, one woman ran away from me. She was just like, and she was confrontational when I went, oh, she's like, what do you want? But this other fella just looked at me and put the mask over his face. He's like, yeah, man, no worries. And I got that one guy just to be like, you know what? Just in case.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. That might be what I was getting at when I was asking you about political songs, because you don't seem to be a very aggressive, you're not someone who's going to tell people what to do, just like in your teaching style. You're not going to say, this is how you write songs. You open this door and let the world and show the world ways to explore it. And you see what I'm saying?
If somebody walks around all day and their entire prerogative is like, the sky is green, the sky is green, the sky is green, and I just look at them and I say, and then I can write something in such a way that they say oh, maybe the sky is blue. That's what I'm trying to do. Because it's not like, if I sit there and I go, no, the sky is blue, they're gonna be like, fuck you, it's green.
Yeah.
But if I sit there and I illustrate for them in as impactful and as personal a way to them as possible, that they go, well, maybe there is something to this blue sky thing. That's much better than fuck Trump, fuck fucking.
Yeah. And even that political song you wrote and you played a little bit for us just a little while ago, it wasn't an angry song. It still had the essence of it was that R&B kind of slow pulse vibe that you have, and that's your thing. I used to play in the subway and I would sing political songs, but I put them to happy bluegrass beats, so this way nobody would be pissed off at me. Yeah. I hate what you're saying, but I love how you say it.
Yeah, exactly. I love that stuff. That's great.
Yeah.
And
all right.
Killed all the children down there in Vietnam. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I cut you off, man. Howdy, George. Welcome to George's Roundup. Today we're going to talk about songwriting and death.
Well, speaking of death, this right. So like I said, after my dad died, I wrote a whole bunch of tunes.
Yeah.
And this is one of those songs that so I'll tell you the really gory detail of where this song came from. This song came from the title of this song came from the fact that minutes after my dad died, his skin looked gray to me. Like stone, right? So this song's called Man of Stone. But the real release for this song was in sort of working out sort of the angst that I had around our relationship when he died, that didn't quite get worked out, right? And what's really funny about it is if you listen to the chorus, each time the chorus means something different, even though it's the same words.
Right.
And it's the edit actually that was that emotional release for me. And so listen to how the chorus works out. So
Will do. I'm going to go away. Give the public just you, baby. Thank you.
You got it, dog. Yeah. When I was small, he was the cannon. I would copy his dimensions like the pillar in the room. Everybody just held up to take that form and fill me out. Pour my foundation in that image. In the mirror is that visage without a doubt. But can we meet his measure. And I some big pretender. They call him David Thinker. Michelangelo, he tinkers, chisels and bone. A man of stone. You could push, you could shove. There he is on his podium. Oh, yes, you could never move the man of stone. You could never move him. Oh, you could never move the man of stone. And as I grew, I start to question the dissonance in my perceptions. Wrong fucking verse. You'd think after an intro like that I wouldn't fuck it up. Let's try that again. Oh man, Tom.
You got this, sir?
I got it, dude. I gotta find it. Oh my god, Tom, it's happening. I haven't played this song in so long.
It's such a weird format to play music in.
It really is, yeah.
It happens to me more than I've ever. Like I play every Thursday night with Baker Thomas Band, and I would forget lyrics, but they'd come right back. I mean, it's a strange format to play music in, isn't it?
Indeed. Shit. Oh man. Well. Well, I tell you what. The second bit is.
Yeah, tell me about it, man.
So the second bit. God, guys, is this? Anybody who's watching this shit, I'm. Really
It's only got like 2 or 3 people watching anyway.
Good. Then let's hope they never get this far in the restream.
You know what?
But I tell you what. So it's as I grew, I started to question the dissonance in my perception. Man. Oh, fuck. Well, I tell you what. I remember the second half of the first verse. Well, now, as I grew, I start to question the dissonance in my perceptions. Where is the man that I knew? Is it you? This stubborn chunk of marble. A preacher clutching his Bible. They call him David Thinker. Michelangelo, he tinkers, chisel and bone. A man of stone. You could push, you could shove. There he is on his podium alone. Yes, you could never move the man of stone. You could never move him. Oh, you could never move the man of stone. Well, we try to forgive each other while we still have time. But the words never came out right. Yeah. So I say, David, thinker, Michelangelo, how you tinker, your chisels and your bones. My man of stone. Yes, I pushed and I loved. You're still on my podium, yeah. You, my man of stone. My man of stone. My man of stone. Something like that.
The voice is in full range, man. Voice sounds good.
Thanks, man. I wish I could remember those 2 fucking lyrics. That's gonna drive me.
Now, it's a Man of Stone. Are you is one any of those passes? Are you calling him stubborn?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
first pass is like he's a statue. He's like, to me, he's like a perfect statue. And the second, hey Victoria Vox, I remember you. You play ukulele very well. You're the shit.
Impossible to forget Victoria
Yeah,
Box.
she's
Absolutely.
awesome, man.
She's one of my favorite artists out there.
She should be. She's the shit.
Yeah.
And the trumpet thing is on point. But anyway, the point is what I was talking about is the first verse here. He's the Man of Stone is a reference to him being like a statue. And the second is a reference
like a concrete, like when you say a statue, you mean like reliable, solid.
reliable and like canonized. Like this is like, you know, when you see like a statue of like an old Greek statue, it's like this is the canon of what a man should look like. You know?
Right. You don't mean in the Al Gore way.
No. No, I do not.
I would like to be president. You don't mean the Mitt Romney, no, John Kerry way.
I would like to be president, please. Thank you. No.
Take me out to the ball place. Get me food those people eat.
And in the second verse,
You mean like a rock? Yeah,
he's
yeah.
supposed to be stubborn.
Right.
It's talking about his stubbornness, and then in the third time through, it's he goes back to being this sort of foundational person. But the thing about it is in the edit, like, and I didn't intend this when I started writing the song, but in the edit, by switching the perspective of taking rid of they call him David and just saying David. My father's name was David, and like David being a statue also kind of played into it, right? So,
right.
Yeah,
Clever.
So in playing with that, just calling him David Thinker, Michelangelo, how you tinker your chisels and bones, my Man of Stone. I pushed and I loved, but you're still on my podium. You, my Man of Stone. So it takes him from being this camp when I'm a little kid to being somebody who I'm rebelling against because he's so fucking stubborn. And then
right.
And then there's sort of the apology after the bridge, which is we tried to forgive each other while we still had time, but the words never came out right. David Thinker, Michelangelo.
So your father might hear some of those lyrics and be like, "What do you mean?" You know, but your grandfather would be like, "Hey, we raised a songwriter. What's your problem?"
Oh man, maybe. If I'd ever met the man, maybe, yeah. That's an interesting thought. I like that.
Your grandfather was a very talented. We share that in common. Your grandfather was a very talented musician and songwriter.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a world-class accordion player.
No shit.
He, I guess maybe 20s, roaring 20s.
Yeah.
I think he played. He lived in New York City, and he played in all Spanish dance companies.
Wow.
And he played the Apollo, like on co-bills with some of the greatest artists, because that's where he lived on 135th Street, and he played tango. My history on it is shamefully not that great, and
that's the way it is with all that shit.
I should talk to my father's oldest brother, because I think he's got to be 87, 88 years old at this point. He would know better than even my father, because there's a lot of years between them. But I guess tango was like a huge movement in the 20s. It was, and he played. Like, I have these pictures of his company. It was like accordion and percussion and 4 dancers and a band leader, nylon string guitar, upright bass, and and these folks dressed to the T's, man. They fucking dressed, and you know how back then everybody had, wingtip shoes and but yeah, he was the composer for the band. Like his accordion case had pages and pages of handwritten composition.
Yeah.
But I never knew him.
Yeah, right. My grandfather died in 1970, so I never.
If talented is inherited, that's where I got my talent from.
Yeah, there you go, man. There you go. I believe that. I'll tell you what. For me, it was always that I kind of hear the world more than I see it. Like I remember what places sound like. Like more than I remember what they look like sometimes. Like I'll like colors of buildings and doors and people faces and stuff, but I'll remember their voice. I remember actually, is it Dear Eliza? She's a
Jane.
yeah.
Poor Eliza.
Poor Eliza.
Yeah.
Jane. When I was running the Thunder Road open mic, man, Jane was in the house, and I'd seen her play 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in the house, and I was looking at her, and I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. And literally, I was just looking at her, and I was like, I think I should know you, but but I feel like I need to talk to you like you're a stranger because I can't remember who you are. And then she got up and she pulled out her guitar. She strummed a chord for the first time. She strummed her first chord, and then she sang her first 3 notes. And I went, I've seen you play here, 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 and here. I EQ'd your guitar this way and this way. Yeah, and like I remembered every context I'd ever seen playing. It's really like I really have an auditory. I really engage with the world that way. I remember the way they sound more than I remember what they look like or people's names or anything like that. So I think that had to do with it, you know. Maybe.
I'm a Jane Park fan.
Oh, dude, she's the shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much
she's
talent.
great.
There's so much talent in this city, man. It's crazy.
It's a shame not to be doing what we were doing just before all this happened, the open mics and the shows and all the things. But again, I don't know what this thing is, but I guess this is going to be. I'm going to try to recapture some of that on this weekly thing, you know.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I think the thing about, you know, the best thing about open mics and shows and that sort of stuff is that we all need community, you know, and even just getting to listen to a conversation like this or have a conversation like this, it gives you that sense of, you know, oh, there's other crazy people out there who like the things I like. That's cool. You know, so I think that's good.
I think Steve Warren might be the only person consistently left with us, but
that's all right.
do you want? Are you feeling burnt? Do you want to play another song?
I'll play another tune. I'll play another tune. We can call it.
I kind of wanted to hear something, if not Heartbeat, something from Heartbeat.
Something from Heartbeat. Holy shit.
Or the song Heartbeat. Is that what the song's called?
The song is called Heart, and I appreciate the request, but I don't think I've played those songs.
I'm just gonna hit disconnect. Fuck this.
Yeah. I don't think I've played those songs in 8 years.
Because I was thinking about, you know, you mentioned the rock opera and all that stuff, and I was thinking a lot of people say I'm going to do a rock opera, and it's like it's lip service, you know. Every musician out there, it has a rock opera. Victoria's still with us, awesome. Has a rock opera in their pocket. I know I've had like 10 of them, and I just never did them, but you actually did it.
Yeah, and to varying degrees of success for sure, as far as like the artistic videos. But
you did it. Yeah, you did it. That is the most important degree of success. You did it, and you did it to us, you know, to a packed house like 4 nights in a row, and then you did a couple more. I mean, you got, you know, press reviews and everything. Like you did it, and people loved it.
Yeah, that's true. It did exist. You know, it's so funny. Can I tell you the funny thing about that? Like it was one of the best things I've ever done, for sure.
Hey, I'm going to interrupt you. Victoria, you're next. I'm getting you on the show.
For real, and I'm watching.
I'm getting you on the show, Victoria. Go ahead. Sorry, George.
No, but the funny thing about that is like I wrote that whole opera about falling in love with Heather and all the crazy drama that went down around that. Basically,
right.
Which largely was me being a fucking idiot, to be real. Like, oh yeah, well, it's weird. The guy fucked up somehow? Anyway, so
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
I don't think it's possible. But what's really funny is, like, you know, I wrote this. All the songs were written from my perspective, and then there was a lead male dancer, and then a female cast, basically around the male dancer. And I think if I was intelligent about making it a rock opera, I would have started with the idea of this is a rock opera, and then had multiple perspectives and characters and things like that. But really what wound up happening was it kind of came off from this male view, and then, like, the worst part of it is, like, the way that it was staged and everything. Some people left it and they were like, yeah, I mean, it was really cool and really good, but I felt like the guy was kind of an asshole. And I'm like, no, it's me. He's not an asshole.
Hey, as long as they bought the ticket.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man. It's a very Larry David moment.
Yeah, man. Well, let's see. What do you want to hear?
You know what, George? You play anything you want. I tell you, the song you played tonight that was real quiet, for what it's worth, engineer-wise, because of our setup and our lack of sound check, that sounded the best tonight.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll hit you with something like that.
Yeah. And can you look right into the camera and dedicate it to Steve Warren, just with your warmest, most sincere face?
Steve, you know before this even started that all these songs are dedicated to you, so you calm down, all right? Stop crying. You know what's up.
Right now he's going, I'm not crying. I love this. I love this, man. I'm not crying. Do it, man. I'm dancing.
You might be right.
I miss me some Steve Warren.
He's a good dude, man. He's a very interesting and beautiful soul. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I tell you what, let's do something folky but poppy. How's that sound?
All right, I'm going off camera, and I'm not like walking around and shit. I'm still here in case anything. Well, I just, I'm like, I'm really listening. I swear. I'm actually, I do wish that you could still hear me when this thing would go off camera, so I could yell like it was a Baptist church during your song.
Oh, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
Woo!
Woo! All right.
Doubt in your body, in your head, in your heart and in your bed. You ask me why I stick around. Fear that's crawling up your lungs and running off your tongue. Honey, what's it come to now? Oh, don't you know I've come to know you in all your corners. I have come to hold you in all your curves. And I have come to greet you at every sunrise. I've come to be yours. I've come to be yours. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hope is filling up my hands and trembling my dams. Ever since you've come around, love has coated my whole spine, that yellow wretched spine. Just so I can tell you now, oh, don't you know, I've come to know you in all your corners. I've come to hold you in all your curves. And I intend to keep you till my final moments. I've come to be yours. I've come to be yours. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I've come to know you in all your corners. I've come to hold you in all your curves. And I've come to greet you at every sunrise. I've come to be yours. I've come to know you in all of your corners. I've come to hold you in all your curves. And I intend to keep you till my final moments. I've come to be yours. I've come to be yours. I've come to be yours. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
And even though I interjected myself for shits and giggles in the middle of the song, and I saw you see it and try not to laugh, you got all those lyrics right in that one. It's tough to get them right.
You know, I
in this format,
that I can't remember that first verse, the first half of that.
No. I don't mean to bring up old wounds.
No. It's so funny. It just escaped me. That's so funny. Yeah. You know, that's all good though. You know, the song came across. Came across.
As a practice, this show, it's not about me singing songs at all. I'm really hosting, but I would like to play a song for you just because it's brand new.
Dude, I'm down. Let's hear it.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
It's a ridiculous song, and I don't have any audio set up. I just have this microphone, so I don't know. Hopefully, it'll be okay.
Yeah, man,
you tell me.
put it in the middle and make it happen. Just crank it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm reaching over. This is our life. Hold on a
I'm
second.
into it.
Okay, I'm using Sticky.
Oh Lord.
Sticky the guitar.
It might as well be a banjo, that thing.
Yeah. Now, if I sing, can you hear everything okay?
Yeah, that's good enough. Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah,
All right.
good enough.
This is ridiculous.
I'm into it.
I'm in the crowd gathering. Oh, actually, I changed that lyric.
See, yeah, you do.
I was in the crowd gathering business. I met you at the door and shook your hand. We packed him in tight and we hugged and kissed. And the lights would go down and the singers would spit love and lyrics and everyone swooned, sweating and dancing in a small room. I'll share the mic with all the band. Shoulder to shoulder, you give us a hand. We gave you a night and you gave us money. Now the doors are shut, the shit ain't funny. I'm searching up and down trying to find a clue. The family's getting hungry and the bills are due. So I'm shaking down people on the internet, trying to keep it light so they might forget that the world's gone completely mad. And this ain't fun we're having to wipe down and sanitize everything. Smile through a mask, keep your hands real clean. The world is completely fucked. I'm out of a job and I'm out of luck. I'm hoping that a laugh's worth $1 or $2. And I mean it when I say thank you. What do you think so far?
You should close every one of these things with this song. You really
Spent all my money on the very best internet service so I could connect to George Woods.
Tis I, yeah.
I ordered every little gadget they had on the internet so I can connect my mixing board, my interface, my little light, and all my guitars and things like that, and an Epo camera from a distance.
And sound check still took an hour and a half.
That's a true story. Once again, I'm a self-fulfilling meme.
Nice.
Spent $1,000 to sing for tips to the masses through a screen. Trying to be sincere through a choppy feed. Read the comments, lose my place. I can't believe the screen froze with that look on my face. PayPal, Venmo are good for bucks, but you can't see the links because my backdrop sucks. Zoom fatigue is all I know, but I'll play any request because I need the dough. While I'm shaking down people on the internet, trying to keep it light so they might forget that the world's gone completely mad. And this ain't fun we're having to wipe down and sanitize everything. Smile through a mask, keep your hands real clean. The world is completely fucked. I'm out of a job and I'm out of luck. I'm hoping that a laugh's worth $1 or $2. And I mean it when I say thank you.
Thank you.
I mean it when I say thank you.
Thank you.
I mean it when I say thank you. And I don't mind when you talk through my song on Zoom. Thank you. Or explain to me the tech problems I already knew. Thank you. Or tell me you ain't tipping because I could not honor a request. True story. Hey,
Oh my
I'm
God.
doing my best to remember for every 10 folks that are cool. There's always want to be one tool. But don't worry, that's not you.
Right, yeah, it's not me. It's not me.
No way, man, you are so cool. Wear your mask, don't be a fool. Either way, it's okay. I'm sure under the mask you're gonna drool. But don't try to be Nostradamus with your fucking nose hanging out of the mask. That's not how masks work. I'm making a prediction. This shit's gonna last forever based on what I've seen. True story.
Yeah,
Shaking
right.
down people on the internet, trying to keep it light so we might forget. I'm shaking down people on the internet. I'm trying to keep it light so we might forget. Yeah, I just had to play that. I'm sorry.
That's
Hold
so
on. I
lit.
can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I
It's
can't
so.
hear you. I can hear you.
That's so legit. It's so good.
Yeah, it's classic old school Subway Tom Bianchi there.
Hey man,
Ugh.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful, man.
Victoria's hanging with us, man. She's in for the long haul.
She's the shit.
She's
man.
also a Berkeley graduate. I don't know if
Oh,
you knew
yeah.
that. Yeah, she's a Berkeley
Oh
kid.
man, Jesus.
Yeah.
God, they put me in the position of people who teach people like you. That's not right. That should that should be the
Uh,
other way around.
Well, you know, if you're a good teacher, you learn from your students too.
I tell you what, man. Honestly, I've learned a lot from my students, and that's the only reason why I think I am a good teacher is because I actually listen to what they fucking say.
I've only heard that you are an amazing teacher, and I think that is what the testaments to that are the fact that like I've seen your students come to your shows, and I've seen them come to your open mic, and I've heard them say, you know, I've heard, you know, when I when I put on shows at the Burn, and like, oh yeah, George is my teacher, and you know, I mean, it's
Yeah, man.
people don't lie when they're talking shit and you're not in the room.
That is the truth. Yeah.
Hey, my dad's watching. How about that?
Hey, how about that?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Excellent, man.
Send me money. My parents they don't need to send me money. I was in the hospital, George, and my parents came up. They spent like a whole week up here, you know.
Mhm, yeah.
And at the time, I got the series going, and financially, I'm doing okay. And I said to my parents, I was like, "Man, you've given me a lot over the years." And then my parents are retired. I said, "Let me take care. Let me give you some money for the hotel room, whatever." And, you know, and they're like, "No, you don't need to do that." And my mother goes, "It's coming out of your take anyway."
That's proper. That's proper. That's good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Beautiful. Hey, man. You want to call this thing?
I think. What are we going to call it?
Oh no, I meant. I don't know what else to talk about.
What are we going to call it?
What are we gonna call it? That's a oof. Jesus. Now you want me to name it? Good God.
Yeah, man. I'm looking to you.
Let's say let's call it Stubble versus No Stubble Man Kiss.
There you go.
As a call back to the very beginning.
All right. Yeah, sure. Thanks. My family's watching, but thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Tom, in case you're wondering, and by the way, Tom, I mean Tom Bianchi, the senior. This is Tom's. This is your son's way of very subtly telling you that he and I have been in a relationship for a very long time.
Yeah. Well, you can call it that.
Yeah, and Danielle knows. She's cool with it.
Danielle knows all.
Right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've been hanging out. This is a live stream of consciousness with my very special guest, George Woods, singer, songwriter, Berkeley teacher, professor, and host of the Lizard Lounge Open Mic Challenge. As soon as it gets back to business,
Yeah, right.
The Cambridge Commons.
I'm hoping that it comes back. I don't know if
it'll come back.
Yeah,
it'll come back. The Lizard in Cambridge Commons and Toad and Christopher's, they ain't going anywhere. I don't think they're going anywhere.
Okay,
we've seen some venues shut down.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, listen, anytime a venue closes its doors, it sucks. But also things pop up all the time. And a lot of the Cantab is talking about closing its doors now. That's the new. Have you seen that online?
No.
You've been to the Cantab before, I assume,
yeah,
right?
man. Oh yeah, man.
Dive bar in Central Square. It's like, and I love that bar, and I have a lot of blood, sweat, and tears on the floor of that bar. I cut my teeth at their open mic. I used to live in Central. I've hung out late night almost every night of the week on Little Joe Cook nights, and Lee has taught me stuff on bass, sitting on the park bench out there.
Mm-hmm.
Candy, the guitar player, and there's Ed White. The list goes on. And I love the Cantam, and I don't want to see it close, but it's like, the writing's on the wall when you shut your kitchen and you start you literally don't, it's a cash bar or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, once you're, in today's day and age, you've been a cash bar for 3 years. Yeah. You're headed to closing, man. I fucking, I know, I hate to be that way, but it's, it's true. So
yeah, what are you gonna do?
But places,
Well, the thing that I was worried, I don't think the Lizard's going anywhere. I was worried that maybe the open mic wouldn't come back because it's maybe not as profitable as it needs to be or something like that. You know, I don't know.
The open mic was doing great.
The open mic was doing great.
Yeah, it's great.
I worry about it in the post-COVID world. You know.
No, that open mic. Hey, listen, I can't speak for the Lizard Lounge. I don't. I'm not in the inner workings. I used to be on the fringe of the inner workings when I was hanging out there a lot. But they've always liked that open mic. It's a Monday night. It's a Monday night. The thing about, they are very much about the big picture. And the thing about a Monday night is like they understand that it's going to be slow in a snowstorm and the summer might hit and it slows down, picks back up. And then so it goes through ups and downs. But it's, a night like that, they know it's going to be, it's about the bigger picture. And it's steady, and it keeps the flow of musicians coming, and the young talent comes in, and it's like, I want to play this room, and they get their fucking band together, and then they start hitting up the booking agent, and they, that's the open mic is a pathway to bigger things at the Lizard Lounge.
That's the truth.
No, I wouldn't worry about that. I'm just I'm psyched that you're still psyched to do it because
dude, I need you in my life for grounding. That's why.
Yeah. I didn't think. See, he's got people chiming in about the open mic here.
Oh yes, hey Michael.
I didn't think I was gonna. I didn't, because I started that thing, dude. I did not think it was gonna keep going until you were the person that took it over. Like when you said you were going to take it over, I was like, "Oh, this might keep going."
Yeah, well, you know why, man? I mean, and this is a testament to you and what you do for the community. I mean, like your Cantab where you cut your teeth and your blood on the floor and learned your shit. That's my Lizard Lounge, and you were the dude who shepherded me through that, man. And it was I can't tell you how much I learned there doing that I could have never paid for. I
it's like $5 to get in, but yeah
exactly. No, but
I did pay $5 a night.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, the thing about it is like I tell these kids all the time, then it's because of your open mic, which is I guess now my open mic. But I tell these kids all the time who I teach, I'm just like, listen, man. You can sit in your bedroom all day and write songs for yourself as much as you want, but until you get in front of another human being and play for a shitload of strangers, you don't know fuck about what you're doing. And
I think open mics
learned that there.
I think they took a little bit of hit in this world of social media because they kids could get that shot of dopamine through just singing on Facebook, and they get oh, you sound great, blah 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 blah, and it's like that fulfills because the open mic. It does a lot of things for a performer. It gives you the experience, gives you the comfort in front of a microphone. But one of the things it does is it gives you that shot of dopamine where people like say you get up the stage and you're like, oh, that sounded great. And you go, thanks. And you ride that high for the whole week when you're a young performer, but it's still, my point is it's still not the same. It's like a little bit of what you get from the open mic.
You take Facebook,
but you don't get the experience.
Yeah, you take Facebook,
exactly.
You put them in front of a crowd, they're going to shit their pants.
Exactly. Like, what? How come I heard someone breathe? And it's like, and I can't do it over, and I can't hit reset, and all these things,
Because you have to learn to get your shit together.
Yeah.
Man, you got to learn how to get your shit together, and that's the other great thing about music, man. Is like. As digital as music will ever get, it's always going to be an analog experience at its core. And when you if your song, if you can't get your song across to people, just you in front of a crowd, maybe some backing, maybe a backing track, maybe not, whatever it is that you want to do, you're not gonna be a musician. At least you're not gonna be a performer at the very least, and like you have to be able to satisfy. You have to be able to satisfy that end. Like you have to be able to satisfy. Like you have to be able to make. You have to be able to look at another human being in the eye, make a connection with the person, and sing something true to them. You know what I mean? And and you can't do that. Even in this context, I mean, I get to play for you. It's also like there's something there is an unspoken exchange of energy and communication that happens between an audience and a performer that you can't replicate on something like Facebook.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's I don't know, man. Open mics, I've always felt are like just the fucking unsung heroes of everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The open mic host,
Well, imagine anybody ever getting to high school without kindergarten.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you gotta start somewhere. But by the way, back on our previous thing of like everybody needs a story. I shit you not, the story that I heard that somebody once about Katy Perry. They were like, she started out in the open mic scene, and I was like, no, really.
That is actually the second time that's been brought. That we were talking about that last night, and I have a couple of stories that I'm not going to share here.
Katy Perry started out singing in open mics, and it's like, yeah, so did my 3-year-old cousin. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not a fucking story.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah.
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 Oh man, we were about to sign off, and then we just started getting another tangent. But yeah, man, I super appreciate you letting me do this and doing this with me and figuring out all this whole thing. And I also appreciate that we got to heal Steve Warren. Thank God.
Yeah.
It's about time.
I'm trying to figure out all the things I can do with this new format. I can do this. Oh, look at that. Oh. I put this logo here, but half the time it was right over your head, so I kept taking it off. See? And I'm like, stop eating my logo.
That's not the first time you said it.
It's like a Pokemon. You try to catch it. Yeah.
You got to catch them all.
Yeah, I wonder if Anyway, I'm not going to do it now because I don't know what the fuck happens. Anyway. I could take our names off. Look, I took our names off. There's our names back.
Tom, we should end this thing, man.
Hold on. Actually, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Look at my name.
George's Love. That's accurate.
Yeah.
The best. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you this part about time travel?
Sure.
Yeah. You get to be my love child. That's the best part about time travel. I better looking than. That was good. That was a good one. Better looking. I like that a lot.
How about that? Yeah. Anyway, I could do this all freaking day.
Indeed.
I'm trying to see if I can upload a video. It says video, but then I go to try to upload a video, and it doesn't seem to. Oh, I think it has to be a specific kind of file. Okay, it has to be like an MP. It has to be an MP4 or something like that. Okay. Oh, well, I'll figure these things out. Rock and roll, man. You still there? Did I fuck up? No, I can't hear you now.
You can't hear.
Oh,
me?
now you're there. Yeah.
Excellent.
All right, dude. Should we pull the plug on this thing?
Let's pull the plug on this thing.
I love you, man. I thank you for doing this so much.
Of course, man. Anytime. I'll do it.
Let's see.
I'll do it again when we figure out all the bells and whistles and shit too.
You know what? I did figure out we can bring in other guests as well. Like
yeah.
I didn't. Hey, look at that. I figured it out. I have to make a new backdrop so I can use this sometimes.
Yeah, real.
But I could do this and I could do this. So I could do this and yeah. But I figured out we can have 3, 4, I think up to 10 guests. I was going to call a couple of people today and see if they wanted to jump in and say hi to you, unbeknownst to you in advance.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, but I just literally signed up for this service thing tonight.
Yeah,
so despite all of our tech problems, it seemed to be smooth overall.
Yeah, I think it went well. I mean, I don't know how it sounded on your end, but that's okay. Yeah.
I think all that camera delay and all that, and now we're just talking amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
I think all that camera delay and stuff had to do with. I think it catches. It's like it caught up with itself. So I'm thinking video. You have to set the sync perfect, the delay like in OBS. But in this, some of that, oh no, it's not in sync. Eventually, I've noticed you dropped out of sync once or twice, and it caught up with itself.
Yeah. I think that it might just have an autocorrect feature that we just weren't, that was going too slow for us.
Man, this panel should fucking pay us to troubleshoot this shit, so we can put it in all the FAQs. We can write the FAQs for this stuff.
Yeah, man. Indeed. Well, Tom, I love you, man. And I'll see you later.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
This has been live stream of This is exactly what I want live stream of consciousness to be.
It was definitely exactly that. Yeah.
That's what really, really is the goal. Just a great conversation. And thank you so much. And for anybody who donated out there, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Talk to you soon, man. I'm there goes George. See you later. And everybody have a good night. Thank you very much. See you next time.